So did y'all see that this week Mary J. Blige was saying basically that in her marriage, her husband, what's his name, Kendu, is not allowed to have female friends.
And she doesn't have male friends.
And she doesn't have male friends. They don't do that.
Foolish.
So just go ahead and jump in, Brandy. Tell us about it.
And then she said, period. Friends, period. Not even that they've had before. Is she saying that?
I don't know.
I think that's crazy. If you have to do all that, it's just along the lines of like, I gotta be with my man all the time so he don't step out. Like, if having a female friend is gonna tempt you that much, then we probably don't need to be together.
I mean, wonders if she meant like just new friends as opposed to like friends that you already had. I mean, she didn't really specify. I think, because we were talking earlier, when the idea of making friends takes like a lot of effort. And I feel like when you're married, why are you putting all this extra effort into these new individuals going out and meeting women and making them your friends and all this stuff like that? Not that I don't necessarily automatically think cheating, I just think out of respect, it just seems like, I wonder if it's really like we're not allowed, or if it's like we just have a mutual understanding that that's not really appropriate.
Think about getting married at like 25, 30. You go the next 50 years of your life not making another friend just because they have a penis or vagina.
A male friend?
That's a lot. No, I'm saying either one. Male
I just mean
woman.
like if I'm thinking for myself, I'm like, would I really be out here like, God, I miss having male friends that are just platonic. Like, I mean, if I already had male friends before and I'm not being cut off from them, I mean, I'll go out here seeking people that I don't know. I mean, like, I have my friends. Even now, I'm like, I wouldn't mind making more friends, but I don't really care.
I think what I wrote, I'm kind of like in the middle of you guys, because what I wrote about this week was like Will and Jada, this old post she wrote about open relationships and feeling like you don't own your partner because you don't own your partner.
Exactly.
And it's kind of like, and I do agree that your life shouldn't completely revolve around your spouse.
Yeah.
And I think but I do also agree, like, it's really hard to make friends as an adult. And so I feel like if you're making a friend of the opposite sex, at some point I'm going to need to meet that person.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's appropriate for you to always be by yourself with that person. But I do think if you meet somebody at work and y'all happen to gel, or maybe you have to travel together or whatever, should you not be friends with that person? No, I think that's a little bit extreme. But you do have to have an understanding about, and it just all goes back to the person we pick, making sure that they have integrity of their own.
Exactly.
Because if they have integrity of their own, they're not going to do anything to disrespect you.
Exactly.
But you have to wonder, like, are you imposing this rule because you feel like this person would disrespect you? And then it becomes a whole different conversation.
Right. That's what my thing of just like, don't try to police your partner. Like, if you got to do all that, what's the point? Because even Naya Rivera come in, to back that up. We don't do that or whatever, she was saying.
Like, girl, you don't even know that man. That's why you don't do
I was just thinking.
Because you was a friend.
All those years, and then you get with him and see that's the people. That's why you nervous. Because you was his friend all along while you was engaged with somebody, and you pop up and marry him. That's different.
Exactly, and that's an insecurity on her part. I don't know Mary's situation, but definitely Naya.
I don't know. Me and Brandy spoke about this earlier, and like I used to be that girl in college where it's like, who's this? Who, like huda, like all the time, and then like my hair started to fall out. Like, you get sick. Like, no, you can't be crazy.
It's too much, right?
And then you start looking crazy too, like physically, like because stress really does react on you. It's not a healthy move. So that's all I say. It's not healthy. You're gonna be tracking people.
Okay, so did y'all see this week? It's so random to me, but comedian Tony Rock, he came out recently, and of all the things to speak about, he's speaking about Erica Mena and Bow Wow's engagement. It's just crazy to me that the number of people who are speaking about this.
Yeah.
So anyway, he speaks on it, and he's like basically telling Bow Wow that you're marrying a hoe, like the biggest a whore, like the biggest one, whore. And I'm like, and there was all this, chatter on Twitter earlier this week saying that Erica Mena had slept with like 300 people. I don't even know where that number came from.
Okay, I was just about to say.
I don't know where that number came from, but like all this talk. And so then Bow Wow comes out and it's like, you know what? It's really a shame that the people who have such negative things to say about this relationship are black, mostly black people. And black folks. And he was like, it really just, shows our own ignorance and what we think about ourselves or whatever. But back to Tony Rock, I think he was very foul and flagrant for that. Like, what is the, did you sleep with her? Did you want to marry her? Or what
But I think he was trying to like be. I think he thought he was being funny because they're all like comedians.
Yeah.
So I think he thought it was like a funny joke. Like it's okay. I'm not mad at him though because we've all fallen in love with a whore before.
And I mean, we know Bow Wow's passed out here, so let's not make this right. Let's talk about that.
Like, yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Up here talking about what's some girls, Sierra and Angela on the show, and what's sex with them. Yeah, so it's like that's my thing. Don't talk about her. I have no time for Erica Mena, so I don't necessarily care about that. But just don't pull out the double standard of that, because Bow Wow been out here since he was 14 with straight backs. So we just don't do that. And it is inappropriate. I mean, at this point, if you want to say this is a real relationship and real whatever, that is his fiance. Like it's another you just screwing some girl. It's still disrespectful, but it's his fiance. Like just chill.
But as far as his comments about like black folks not being, I literally hate when black celebrities say that. I'm like, you're literally only saying that because you're black, and so black people are your. But there are white people talk about their people all the time. Their actresses. I mean, who knew that people hated
Gwyneth Paltrow,
or even what's her name?
Who?
My friend does Cover the Bazaar with the short haircut from Les Miserables.
Anne Hathaway.
Who knew that people hated her?
Like she did a whole interview. She did a whole interview about her.
Everybody does their their groups differently. So it's not
you're
not the
not the
only
most hated
one.
black person. So
Please.
I tried because you're from Ohio, but I can't.
Yeah.
So
And you say so much foolishness, so people criticize you for that anyway.
And you don't care about nothing else with black people, so please don't be like a black crusader. All of a sudden, you want black people to do better.
About
now when you're on 106 and Park clowning every other day.
Because you was Mr. 106 Park. Because who was voting for you? The
black
gals.
Okay.
The black gals.
Right.
So they decided to make you a host, so you got a job because of folks like that.
All right. So speaking of celebrities black folks really are coming forward this week. Bill Cosby, the things kind of heated up a little bit this week when Janice Dickinson came out on an interview with Entertainment Tonight and said that, Bill Cosby raped her too. Back in 1982, she said he invited her to Lake Tahoe after one of his shows. They had dinner. They go back to her hotel room, and he gives her some wine and a pill. And she said the last thing she remembers is like him coming towards her, taking his robe off, and then she wakes up and feeling like something happened. But he was gone by that time. So people are like, I know a whole lot of our readers were like, why is she just coming out with this now? But she said this a long time ago, years and years ago. She wrote an autobiography and included that a long time ago. But the thing is, nobody cared. Bill Cosby had all this power, all this money, all this influence, and now that it's kind of like that these allegations are coming up again, she felt like, to corroborate these other women's stories, like, yes, this happened to me too. So, what do you guys think about all of that coming out?
I think now I'm just trying to figure out the end game, of the women. Obviously, your story should be told if that's what you want to do and make it easier for other victims. I mean, he is starting to lose stuff, I mean, he's so much older now that it's only so much damage that can be done. But I'm trying to figure out, is that the goal? Because I guess at this point you can't prosecute him for any of these. But, if it is to take away his power or to make a bigger platform about the issue of rape in the country, then I think it's good. I don't know. I mean, that's, I guess, all I think about. I don't think he's ever going to speak on it, and say anything. And even his wife is just, it's odd to see that all these years. I mean, 15 women is a lot to just say nothing could have happened, but, I mean, we don't know. We probably never will know for sure, but I don't know.
The lawyer on Good Morning America made a really interesting point. He said that Bill Cosby deliberately said, he never did anything with Janice Dickinson, but with other people, he's like, we're just not going to talk about that, and we'll just, pay them off or what have you. So I have my own opinions. I definitely think stuff definitely went down because he joked about it on his stand-up continuously. But at the same time, I think about the issue, I just feel bad for the other cast members of the Cosby because, your check's not gonna come in from TV Land no more.
I was thinking about
that residual check.
I was kind of wondering, because even with the Stephen Collins, I was kind of like, why you gotta take off Seventh Heaven though? Because I still like I could still appreciate the show,
right?
Yeah.
Even though I know you're making money off of it, but it's
because people always be like, I watched and I felt weird.
Yeah, and that, but then don't watch it. But the rest of us who still would enjoy the show for what it was,
right? Because somebody was
I don't
like,
know
don't
that
take the Cosby show. That's fun.
Yeah, I really don't know that does anything.
Night,
I don't. Yeah, it's one thing like a pundit says something reckless now and you lose your job, but a show from 20-some years ago. I don't know. And
It's weird.
Right, and you think of the other people out here doing just as much and still
All the daggum time.
Yeah, that
we don't know
is
about.
okay. I don't like that.
And I didn't think about that because when they took the Cosby Show off, I was like, okay. Well. And then Very Smart Brothers wrote something about a different world, and I was like, oh no, we can't live in a different world. So
Exactly.
So I mean, it's definitely like
saying.
a fine line between. I don't know. I don't really know the answers to those questions, like those moral dilemmas. Like, is it still okay for those shows to run and to air?
Yeah.
When we really, when there is not any solid proof about it. I believe the women, but I don't. There's really no solid proof, and it can't be tried. And the AP recently asked, Bill Cosby about that, and he was like,
We don't talk
about that
Yeah.
at all.
But I hate talking about it because I'm like, at the end of the day, like, nobody knows anything. Like, nobody knows the truth. Nobody knows hasn't seen anything except maybe like from the civil lawsuit from 2006 or whatever. And I just always, like, from my own experience, like, having watched people lie on people that I care about and watch them lose things that are very important to them and have people just believe it, I just hate to even like comment on stuff like this because it was like, it's messed up either way. It could be messed up that he possibly sexually abused all of these women, and nobody did anything about it. And it could also be messed up that they could be out here lying and people will just want to believe it because it's, well, with 15 people, somebody can't be lying. You just never know. And
To me, I think it's important for the women to come forward with their stories because it just shows, like, if people had done their due diligence 20 years ago or 30 years ago, then we wouldn't be having this discussion. But I think the issue of people just don't believe women in general. When things happen, when there is proof, they don't look to find the proof. So you just have to, when these women come forward, do your research, check the rape kits, like do all the stuff that needs to be done so we can prove one way or the other, and so people don't lose careers that didn't need to be lost, and women don't live with this shame, with this guilt, with this burden for 20 years while this man is flourishing on TV every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Just do the work.
Right, exactly. And I don't feel like people are looking at that angle at all. They're looking at other things. And that's what I'm saying, like, taking the Cosbys off the air doesn't fix that. The bigger issue is rape, period.